What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to JD's Nerdverse. We're doing a playthrough today of Pokemon Blue with Magikarp and Gyarados. Magikarp, the fish Pokemon, and Gyarados is the atrocious Pokemon. We have to get this Pokemon, this flopping, worthless fish, to evolve into this giant dragon water serpent god thing. So, how are we going to do that? Well, here, let's go ahead and start with this. Our rival's name is Zone. You'll see why here in a little bit. It's not a clever name, but you'll get why here in a little bit. It's just a little bit of a play on like what we're going to do. And Magikarp we start off with. Magikarp has the worst stats in Generation 1. You'll see that here in a little bit. It also has no moves. It has Splash. It only has Splash. And potions are very important in this playthrough, so that's why I grabbed the one out of the computer there. And then we're going to get Professor Oak, come get us, and he's going to give us our starting Pokemon, which we substituted out Squirtle. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I used the Pokemon randomizer to change out Pokemon, and I'm going to substitute out Squirtle for Magikarp. I also play at 4x speed, if you're not aware of that. So, and I named Magikarp Sir Splash because he splashes around a lot. This Pokemon, I don't know how to explain this. It's a slog, let's put it that way. If you watch my prediction video, I recommend you go watch it. I'll go into a lot of detail on a lot of things. I do not get anywhere near close to the time I put on there. So I guess I thought I could get this Pokemon evolved in like 40 minutes. Nope, not even close. And you'll see why here in a minute. So our rival comes out with Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is the obvious choice here. We're water type, he's grass. So it's the obvious choice. And we have just Splash. It literally does nothing. So are you gonna sit there and say, well, I guess the game's over? No. You can still evolve as Pokemon. You can still do some things. However, it is going to take a little bit of time to do it. So I'll show you what we're going to do here in a second. So again, I do want to. First off, we can't fight any battles until we get to the Bug Forest, because none of those Pokemon we can do anything against. Okay, that person gives us a potion, which is a big deal because that person lies. So our stats of this Pokemon are 20 HP, 10 attack, 55 defense, 20 special, and 80 speed. So speed and special are actually not too bad. I'm sorry, speed and defense are not too bad, but they're not great. And we got the parcel from Oak, and this is the stats we have to deal with for a while. We don't have good HP. We don't have good anything really with this Pokemon. Just making you aware, it's not very good. So, like I said, we're skipping every battle, and yeah, that's our stats. So we're good with the stats, and we have to level up. And the way we have to do that is in Generation 1, you have this Pokemon has Splash and Tackle. It actually has another move in Generation 2, which is a little bit more helpful. But we have 40 power points with Splash. That means we have to do Splash 40 times before we can use a move called Struggle. Struggle is a 50 base power normal move that you get when you run out of power points. It's decent, but it also has a recoil, so that's the problem we have. And we have to, we're trying to get level 15 so we can get Tackle. Tackle doesn't really make this Pokemon great, but it's better than having to go back and heal all the time. Okay? So we've ran away from every encounter, and there's our third potion. So we got 3 potions now. We should be getting 2 more in the Bug Forest. So three potions, and we run away from every battle. And in Bug Forest, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find a Metapod. So Metapod and Kakuna only have the move Harden. Okay, so there's a Metapod, perfect. So we're going to use Splash against Metapod. And I want you to take note of how long this takes. Splash will just do nothing, and Metapod will just do Harden. So Metapod's defense goes through the roof, and we're using Splash. And we also can't use really our potions for a while. We only have 17 hit points. A potion gives you 20. It kind of is a waste of a potion if you're not at least near level 20. Not near level 20. Have 20 hit points. There we go. So we've been doing this for a while, and we still have 15 splashes left. So we have to deplete all of our power points. And then we're going to go find another Metapod to fight. Maybe 2. Depends on our health, but maybe 2. So, Splash. We're almost done with the Splash. So that took about a minute. Okay. At 4x speed, it took about a minute. And now we got to find another Metapod. Caterpies don't give you enough experience. They give you experience, but Metapods and Kakunas give you way more. That should be a Kakuna. Okay. So we're going to use Struggle. Struggle will do damage and then deal back half that damage we deal back to us as recoil. So that's what we're fighting with. We have to get that done. And like I said, we only have a few potions. So one thing I've always said about the game of Pokemon, especially when you're doing a solo playthrough, the game is about, see, I just used a potion there. That was a waste. That was a waste of a goddamn potion. A complete waste. So we did that a whole bunch of times till we got to level 9. So that was a long time. So that's 20 minutes we spent doing that just to get to level 9. And we have to beat this Weedle, because if we don't beat this Weedle, we can't go buy more potions. Okay, so the Mart in Verillion City does not sell potions, even though that NPC we talked to earlier tells us they do. He gives us a free potion, but they do not sell potions there. So you have to actually get by the bug trainer to buy more potions to continue your training. Okay, and we don't actually have, we get 5. We've used all, you get 5 prior to going to Pewter City. We use all 5 of them, and now we're to the point where I think we have enough HP that we can get through a fight with another trainer. So I want to take note, we're at 32 minutes, we're only at level 10, and we have had to do this training style for 32 minutes, where we deplete all of our splashes, go fight a Metapod, and if we have enough, if we're over 20 health, we use a potion, and we heal back up. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here. So, there's a strategy you can use where we're already depleting our power points and fighting Pokemon. At this point, we've used all of our potions. So, what are we going to do for experience? Well, we can keep doing the same strategy. It's going to take forever. And whenever at this point in the game, we're at 48 minutes. We're at like level 11 or 12. You can keep doing the same thing. You can deplete all your power points and fight a Metapod or 2. But what you have to do with that is right after, as soon as you're done, you have to go right back and heal, deplete your power points, and then repeat that process. So what we're going to do is this trainer right here has 3 Pokemon. He has a Weedle, he has a Kakuna, and he has another Weedle. They will give out way more experience than a wild Pokemon. Okay, a wild Kakuna may give you between Kakuna Metapod give you between 40 and maybe 68 experience points if you're lucky, but that's only if you find like level 6 Pokemon. Caterpie will give you about 20, maybe 30. Okay, but by fighting this trainer here, we're gonna get a lot more experience than that. Okay, we have all our power points drained, so we're using Struggle. So by fighting this trainer, we can get almost 200 experience points in one battle at just about the same clip it would take us to fight a different battle. Okay, struggle and struggle and struggle, and the goal here is that we can do this repeatedly until we can beat this trainer, and that'll let us level up because we're getting 200 experience points rather than about 45 to 50 experience points on average. And we lose to the third one, that's fine. But what we do is we keep fighting this battle because we can get more levels out of it. We can get more experience out of this. So now I'm depleting all the power points again. Alright, and whenever we get beaten, we get sent back right to the Poke Center anyway, so we teleport there basically. And we just run back to deplete and go fight this guy again. I don't even save now, because it's actually part of the strategy. It's actually a great strategy. I'm taking a drink, my mouth is very dry. One other thing I have not mentioned yet. So the reason why it's also taking this Pokemon a long time to level up is we are in the slow level up group. Magikarp and Gyarados are in the slow level up group, so for every level it takes way more experience to level up than it would for most of the Pokemon out there. Most Pokemon are in like the medium fast growth rate or the medium growth rate. So yeah, so we repeat that strategy over and over and over again until we can actually beat this trainer. So we did it twice, and now we're going to do it one more time, and I think we're going to get a level here. But that's what the strategy here is, and then we can repeat the strategy somewhere else as well. You'll see here in a minute. But yeah, 52 minutes, we're not even close. We're only at level 12, and we got to get to level 20. Just keep that in mind. So all the experience points we've yielded so far, so there's the level, and now we won't beat this trainer. We don't have the health to do it. So, and we lose. But we will repeat that process over and over again until we get to a high enough level. So right here, I'm depleting our power points again. There we go. Oh, I accidentally just used the. There we go. Level 50. Okay, I'm just showing you how I get level. How I got tackle there. There we go. So I got to level 15. I got tackle. So now what this does now is this changes a lot of things for us. We don't have to go back and we don't have to deplete our power points anymore with Splash. We now have tackle. Tackle makes this, blows this game wide open because you don't have to take damage every time you do a move. So a little bit better. So whenever we do want to like actually grind, we can just go fight Pokemon and do it. But okay, I think we're gonna go fight the trainer here. I think with tackle we can beat this trainer pretty easily now because we don't have to take any damage from the at all. And what we've been doing this entire time. I'm just gonna go and take the free attack here. But the entire time we've had to deal damage, we've dealt back at least 1 damage to ourselves at minimum every time. Okay, whatever we do, it's half. In future generations, they actually make this better. I think it's like an 1/8 of whatever you do, or a quarter. I don't remember. It's one of the two. So I'm saving right here just in case we lose. But we're actually going to fight this trainer for real to try to beat it. Before, it was just about milking that trainer for experience, and it actually didn't do too bad. It was a decent strategy. So we're going to do now we're going to knock him out and just get the experience points, and we get poisoned. So now we will take damage every turn, but not recoil. There we go. And just keep in mind that this you're going to see the time, you're going to see the moment in which I evolve into Gyarados. All that time was spent just depleting power points from Splash and fighting 1 or 2 Metapods, running back to the Poke Center and healing. I did get a little bit of time where I was able to heal with a potion. That was a thing. So with the potion, that was a thing. And then repeat that same process. It was over and over. It was very monotonous. It's very much a slog. So now we're moving on to attempt to beat our rival. Okay, our rival has a Pidgey and it has Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur doesn't really have any grass moves yet, so we're not at that point. But we only have tackle, and we're 6 levels higher. One thing I will say Magikarp has is decent speed and decent defense. So he takes some hits. That's good. But we get the Pidgey knockout. I don't think I saw a sand attack in there. So now it's just about, and now he seeded us, and now it's just about offsetting the seeding. So a little couple, maybe critical hit here and there would help us. But I thought we were going to lose this battle. We get a critical hit there. Very nice. And he keeps using Growl, so it lowers our attack, so we don't do as much. So the good thing about critical hits is they ignore any kind of modification to your stats. So that's a really big benefit to using tackle. So I have this playing because I had an idea that I am going to do, and initially I walk away from this, so keep this in mind. I do walk away from it. I'm like, oh crap, I need to go back and do this. So this is something in the game that I wanted to show everyone because it's a great opportunity to show it. Oh, maybe I'm not going to do it. Okay, I am going to do it. Okay. So if you beat your rival, so if you have no Pokeballs on your inventory at all, when you beat your rival, if you have no Pokeballs and you've caught no Pokemon, you can actually go back to Professor Oak, and he'll give you something. This is definitely available in Gen 3, and I wasn't 100% sure if I was able to do it here, but if you fight your rival and you don't have any Pokemon or Pokeballs in your inventory, he will give you another 5 Pokeballs. Now, what does that mean? Now, it's not a big deal, because it's 5 Pokeballs, but you can sell that 5 Pokeballs and buy, another potion or 2. So that was what the importance of it was. So now we moved on to Brock's Gym. So we are going to fight the Million Light Years trainer. Now, the Million Light Years trainer, we're not going to be able to beat him on the first try. But similar to that bug catcher, we have a strategy here where we can just attack the bug catcher, or the Million Light Years trainer. His Diglett will give us 190 experience points every time. So rather than keep grinding on Metapods, it's faster just to fight the Million Light Years trainer, beat the Diglett, get the experience, Blackout gets the Sandshrew, and then run back and do it again. Okay? So that's the strategy we're doing right now. And then we'll do this until we beat him. And honestly, I should have, if you watch this, I will beat him at some point. And what I should have done is just, intentionally fate and kept doing it, because then we have no one else to train on other than Brock, and you can't knock out the Geodude with the Brock with Magikarp. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. You may get lucky and get it, but you're going to spend so much time, it's just not worth it. And it's a luck thing anyway. So 190 experience points every single time, and we're just going to do that until we can beat Sandshrew. We're going to get the experience points. And that's how we're going to help ourselves level up. Okay, it's a repeated process. So now I think we're actually showing the one where we actually beat the Million Light Years trainer. We get to level 17. So I just wanted to show you that that was one of the strategies that I did to speed up the leveling up process. And as much as I say the word speed up, we're an hour and 21 minutes. So and again, I want to reiterate, this is where I was way off on my prediction. My prediction video, I had us at beating this thing in about an hour and 30 minutes. I thought we can get this thing evolved at like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I forgot how long it is to deplete these power points. So we do beat the Million Light Years trainer, and we're still training. So now I'm in Bug Forest, and I'm at level 19. I'm just trying to get that last level I need. And when we get that last level, we're going to evolve into Gyarados, and then everything in the world will be just set right. So I want you to take note of how long that took. And again, I had to use some, I wouldn't say sneaky, but like tricky ways to get some experience points. And we evolve into Gyarados, and we get Bite, and that's an hour and 34 minutes for even attempting Brock. I'm saving just in case, because even though we do have Gyarados now, we do not get a good move. We only have Bite. Bite's not a bad move, let me rephrase that. But definitely better than Tackle and way better than Splash. So, alright, Brock comes out. Wakanda forever, and we're fighting the Geodude. So Bite is considered a normal type move in Gen 1, so they are still resistant to our move. It does a decent amount of damage. Get the knockout. We have 71 hit points going into Onix. So Onix versus Water Onix. That's a they always call Gyarados Water Onix. I've heard people call it that before. So Splash still has a use here because Onix likes to use a move called Bide. What Bide does, it adds up all the damage you deal to Onix over a certain amount of turns and deals it back. So see how much damage? I did almost 30 damage there. It's a lot of damage we did. But we knock out Brock. We get the Boulder badge, and we move on. And now I want to go over Gyarados' stats. Gyarados has 95 HP, 125 attack, 79 defense, 100 special, and he has 81 speed. So I want to take note of something real quick. I think it is the most asinine thing ever that Magikarp evolves into Gyarados. Magikarp flops around, and Gyarados is clearly like a water serpent god thing. Okay, a water serpent dragon god thing. And it only has one more speed than Magikarp. I find that to be incredibly just, I don't even know the word I would use. It's just incredibly like, what? Like WTF, like what the heck? How does this flopping bird or fish have 80 speed, and then this giant serpent that flies apparently has 81? It just does not make sense to me. However, stats are great. Attack, special, all good. Defense is okay. HP is good. And speed is mediocre, I guess. So we get into Mount Moon. Mount Moon gives us a handful of things. We do get Water Gun there. But I want to go over the moveset. So Water Gun's being added right now. And this gives us a stab move. So we have Bite, Tackle, Water Gun, Splash. Okay. And we have Bide too. So we got rid of Splash because we have Bide added. So we start the game off with Tackle. Ignore this. We start off with Tackle. I meant the fight. I meant that dumb little fight there. So you can watch the fight while I talk. At level 20, we get Bite. Bite is a... What is Bite? Bite. I'm pretty sure it's 65 base power, normal move. 60 base power, I'm sorry. Normal move, 100% accurate. If you go first, it does have the option to make the opponent flinch. Okay. At level 25, we get Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage is a set damage move. It'll do 45 damage come hell or high water. It'll always do it. It won't choose anything else. It'll always do Dragon Rage. Okay. Leer, I'm sorry, it'll just do 45 damage, whether their defense is high, whether they're weak to us, whatever. It's a typeless move. It's not typeless, I'm sorry, but it skips over like type things like that. Leer is a move that lowers the opposite's defense. We're not going to use with this Pokemon. Hydro Pump is a move that I don't think I've ever actually used in a playthrough, and I probably won't use it here. It's very powerful. Do not get me wrong, it's very powerful. 120 base power, 80% accurate. That's why I don't like using it. 80% accuracy. And then with Stab, it's 180 base power. So it is very powerful, this Pokemon. It's just very highly inaccurate, and it's not very reliable. Okay? Then level 52, we get Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam's 150 base power, 9% accurate move. Very powerful move. It can't hit Ghosts because it's a normal type, but it is what it is. Not the biggest deal in the world. So that's our moveset via level up. Not bad. Dragon Rage definitely has a shelf life, so does Bite. Leer, Hydro Pump, and Hyper Beam will be used in the Elite Four just to have the probably one of the most powerful moves in the game. So, not too much there. But that's our, not a lot of level up moves, but enough that we could easily beat the game with this. But we're going to go over TM moveset here in a little bit. But we're just finishing up Mount Moon. And, like I said, Mount Moon doesn't provide a lot of challenges. I wouldn't say we're over leveled, but having to get to level 20 just to get by Brock does make it so a lot of things in here are a much lower level than us. Now the game will catch up because one, we're not going to fight every fight in this game. We don't have to. The fact that this is like a giant water serpent thing, I do not know why it didn't go back. It is what it is. And now we're moving on to Misty's Gym. Misty's Gym is not going to provide too many resistances here because we have water type. And she's just going to use water moves against everyone in there. Won't use water moves against us. So, for example, this is probably the most challenging fight we're going to have. It's Goldeen, and she's going to use Peck or Supersonic. Supersonic's just as bad as Peck, but we get the knockout because this Pokemon is very powerful. It's a very powerful Pokemon. And now we're moving on to Misty. Misty comes out with a Staryu. Staryu will not do much to us. Her water Pokemon have good AI. They're only going to go for X Defend or Tackle. They will not use Water Gun against us. Won't use Bubble Beam. So they really don't have a good optimum move. Okay, we have Bite. Bite is not a great move right now, but it's very effective against them because they can't do anything. All I can do is Tackle. So we added Bubble Beam to our moveset, and now we're moving on to Nugget Bridge and face our rival. Our rival comes out with a Pidgeotto, an Abra, a Rattata, and a Bulbasaur. And we are going to stomp the crap out of our rival. And we get Dragon Rage. So we get to level 25, like I said earlier. And we get Dragon Rage. So like I said about Dragon Rage, we'll do exactly 45 damage. Doesn't matter how they're typing. Doesn't matter how good a defense they have. Doesn't matter they're special. None of those things are going to stop this Pokemon from doing anything other than if we miss an attack. So we get the knockout and move on to the SS Sand. So I'm skipping over a lot of the monotonous battles because we spent so much time on leveling up. So we're going to go ahead and fight our fourth rival fight. Okay, Body Slam was a one hit on the Pidgeotto, one hit on the Raticate, one hit on the Kadabra. Is it a one hit on the Ivysaur? It is a one hit on the Ivysaur. So I rolled the dice here and went for Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge is the Electric Gym leader. Electric is our main weakness. We are 4 times weak. We are water and flying, so we are 4 times weak to electric. So I rolled the dice here. I knew we could knock out the first 2 Pokemon. That wasn't a concern of mine. It was the Raichu. I didn't know if we'd outspeed, and I was confident we'd knock it out, but I didn't know if we'd outspeed. So we beat Lieutenant Surge, the Trash Man, and we move on to heading towards Rock Tunnel. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the moveset. I'm going to be very brief with this. We don't have a lot of moves we're actually using. So I'll go over some. We don't use Toxic. Body Slam is a great move with this Pokemon. We have 125 attack. So though we are not normal type, an 85 base power normal attacking move works extremely well with this Pokemon. Okay, we got a lot of mass, we got a good attack, and it works well with Body Slam. Body Slam also has the ability to paralyze. It comes with the move. So it's also very good, so that's why we use it. Whatever Pokemon we play through as, it always gets used, and I'll never be apologetic about that. It's a great move to have. Just wish you could get a little bit earlier. Takedown and Double Edge will not be used by this Pokemon. With our attack stat, Double Edge would be great. The only downside with Double Edge is the recoil. Not a big deal. Water Gun we actually added in Mount Moon, so that was a 40 base power move, but it was 60 with Stab. And a very reliable move. It's not a very powerful move, but it's very reliable, especially at that point in the game. Bubble Beam, we ended up adding its 65 base power with our Stab. It's about 98. It's about 98 power points, and very reliable move. Now, just a level. It's just an upgrade from Water Gun. Ice Beam and Blizzard are moves that we reserve for late in the game. The Elite Four water moves don't do well against the Elite Four. There's nothing there that's really weak. You have a couple Onyxes, but there's nothing Fire type, and there's not a lot of Rock type. This is like Onyx, and that's pretty much it. So Ice Beam does a lot better. There's a lot more things that are weak to Ice in the Elite Four. So Ice Beam and Blizzard are things we use eventually to replace Bubble Beam and to help us progress and beat the Elite Four. Hyper Beam, we get it via level up, so I'm not going to do it via TM. Rage I'm not going to use. It'd be great early, but we can't even learn it because Magikarp can't learn TMs. So, yeah. Dragon Rage, I'm not even sure where to find this dang thing. I was looking through another Pokemon, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Aerodactyl. And I saw that it can learn Dragon Rage, and I'm like, where the hell can I find this? So I'm going to have to research that. But let's look at the right side, and we're almost done with the Elite Four. Wow, okay. So, we did not go over all the moves in here. So, I will just briefly go over the ones that are on the right side that I did not go over right there. I'll reserve that for a second. Victory Bell. Actually, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back for a second. And you're seeing some spoilers here. Pause. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay. We get Thunderbolt. Okay, Thunderbolt is a 95 base power electric move. It's kind of ironic we can get this because this is our like the one move that wrecks Gyarados when we've played the game. But we get Thunderbolt. Thunder we will not use because of its low accuracy, but it's 120 base power. Mimic, if we wanted to do the badge boost, Mimic, we can add Mimic and then like mimic a move from the opposition. We actually do it against our final fight, and I think I screwed up, but it is what it is. Bide we use for like 3 seconds. Double Team and Reflect we don't use. Double Team is actually outlawed, so we can't use it. Fire Blast, don't know why this giant water. It makes sense. It's a giant. It's a dragon. Skull Bash not going to use. Rest, Substitute. And Surf is actually a very powerful move we can use with this Pokemon. The problem is, Surf is not as good as other moves. Ice Beam is a better move than Surf, especially against the Elite Four. Thunderbolt's better to have. So if we add Surf, we wouldn't be limited to have 3 other moves. And when you look at our moveset in the end game, like we kind of need all 3 of them. All 3 of them are going to be very useful. And Surf would take up one of those slots, and we would be at a huge disadvantage in the Elite Four. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to where I was. Yeah, right here. And almost there. Right there. Okay. So we're back to Erica. Sorry about that. I didn't speak fast enough. That's on me. And we come out, and Erica comes out with Victory Bell. Now, this is a risk because Victory Bell can put us to sleep on turn 1. It doesn't. And we end up steamrolling her entire team because we don't get put to sleep. So Victory Bell can be tricky. It's a good Pokemon. And then we move on and face Giovanni. Giovanni will not be hard. We have so many moves that can do a lot to Giovanni. We have Water Gun, or I'm sorry, Bubble Beam. We have Ice Beam. We could do the same thing. It's just about managing power points at this point in the game. So like I said, we're trying to catch up time. So we fought Brock at 1 hour and 34 minutes. We beat Brock at about 1 hour and 36 minutes. So between then and now, we've made up a lot of time. Okay, facing our 5th rival fight. 1-hit knockout on Pidgeotto, 1-hit knockout on the Gyarados. Growlithe comes out. Bubble Beam should be a 1-hit knockout. Very good. Kadabra comes out. Body Slam will be a 1-shot on him. And the question is, do we 1-shot the Ivysaur? We do. It's one of the worst rival fights in the game, in my opinion. And we move on to Koga's Gym. So Koga's Gym doesn't really provide anything horrible for us because we have really good move in Body Slam. And a lot of the Pokemon in here are Psychic type, so Psychic have very low actual defense in the game. So we're just getting through here. We're fighting minimum battles. So the point of getting Magikarp and moving on in the Gyarados is we don't have to fight a lot of extra battles to progress through the game. Okay, it's what we call minimum battles. There's actually playthroughs like JR's 11 does a lot of them where he does minimum battles. So you don't have to fight extra battles in the game. And can you win the game with minimum battles? Which Pokemon can do it? Stuff like that. So we don't have to fight a lot of extra battles in the game at this point. And now we're going to go ahead and fight Koga. Koga, the Poison Gym Leader, he's going to come out with Coughing. Now, we have things that... Nothing he has is going to do a lot of damage to us. We just got to worry about getting poisoned. So, 1 knockout on the Coughing. Very good. We level up to level 38. Ice Beam, there's nothing that does great damage though. We don't have like Psychic. Psychic would do 1-shots because of Poison type. So we just gotta get this guy knocked out. We're down to 114 hit points, not a lot of damage taken. We just don't want this guy to 1-shot us with self-destruct. And that's what he does. So we gotta fight this battle again. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it does take up another minute of time, so to speak. But like I said, we beat Brock in 1 hour and 37 minutes, and we're not even 30 minutes later, and we're fighting the 5th gym leader. So we progressed pretty well. Thunderbolt. It's just about that last Pokemon. We actually have less health now than we did with the first fight. So the first fight we had 114 hit points, and this doesn't. It must have been a range and a critical hit or something. And then we move on to Blaine. I went to Blaine first because we are water type and we have Bubble Beam, and I really want to get rid of Bubble Beam and add a better move. So Bubble Beam will be super effective against Blaine, so let's get that taken care of. And Hyper Beam or Hydro Bump, not going to use. Garbage move. So we're going to not learn it. We're just going to keep using Bubble Beam. We have 122 hit points going into the final Arcanine. It's not a now Bubble Beam's not a very powerful move. We get a critical hit there, and we beat Blaine, and we move on to our 6th rival fight. The 6th rival fight usually is when it starts getting tough because it's got fully evolved Pokemon. They do a lot more damage. They can hit harder, but Thunderbolt one-shots the Pidgeot, one-shot on the Gyarados, one-shot on the Growlithe, Body Slam on the Alakazam, and Ice Beam on the Venusaur. And it's gonna be a 2-shot. Doesn't do much with Razor Leaf, but we get the 2-shot, and we beat our 6th rival fight. We beat Giovanni too. Here he is. Let's go ahead and watch this very monotonous Giovanni fight. Giovanni and his Widow's Peak. We get the knockout. Knockout there on the Nidorino. Very good. Kangaskhan, Body Slam. It'll be a 2-shot. We're actually whittling down our health pretty well here, isn't he? Bubble Beam will be a 1-shot. Very good. Nidoqueen, Ice Beam, not very good. I thought we get the 1-shot. We don't get the 1-shot. But we move on to the Sabrina. Sabrina, the Psychic Gym Leader. And her whip. And she brings out a Kadabra. We should steamroll this entire team. As long as we go first and hit Body Slam, we will knock out her entire team. We do not knock out Mr. Mime. That does not make sense to me. That does not make sense to me at all. We are a very powerful attacker. I'm not even going to try to rationalize that. But we get the it's not a 1-shot either, and we're paralyzed. That's awesome. So now Alakazam will go first. He'll do a decent amount of damage. Body Slam does not get the 1-shot. As long as we go first, there we go, we get the knockout. I don't know. That was a weird fight. And we went first. We're paralyzed. If you get paralyzed, you don't go first. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. Okay. Giovanni. I'm not going to argue. We're progressing through the game. Giovanni comes out with Rhyhorn. And this is a gym leader, Giovanni. So his team is actually solid. I actually think his team's pretty good. So I'm trying to bait him into using like a Leer just to boost my stats. Wouldn't matter anyway because the badge boost. I just leveled up, so it would have negated the badge boost. However, we are almost a 1-shot on the Nidoqueen. Damn, and we get poisoned. We just can't 1-shot anything. That's what's like weird about this Pokemon. It's very powerful, but we're not getting 1-shots where I would expect to get 1-shots. But regardless of that, we don't get a 1-beam on with the Ice Beam on the Rhydon. Dang, I just don't understand that to me. So, move on to our 7th rival fight for the Elite Four. We got all the gyms, and moving on to our 7th rival fight. Comes out with a Pidgeot. Pidgeot should be a 1-shot. I don't want to sit there and say it should be anything because nothing ever works the way you want it to. But we get 2-shot on the Pidgeot. Rhyhorn comes out. Rhyhorn will be... I'm trying to get him to use like Leer or Tail Whip or something. There's Tail Whip. That's what I wanted. Ice Beam. Get the knockout. Very good. Gyarados comes out. Thunderbolt. Get the knockout. Very good. Bubble Beam. Get the knockout. What I'm waiting on is to get Hyper Beam. That's why I have not removed Bubble Beam. And Body Slam does not knock this guy out. What in the hell? I don't know what's going on here. That does not make sense to me. It doesn't compute. Like my brain's about to hit fried right now. Because it does not compute with me. We're not knocking out Alakazam. Okay, so let's go over the stats. We're about to go into the Elite Four. Got a few minutes left in this playthrough. 2 hours and 14 minutes. And it's taken us 37 minutes to progress after Brock. So keep that in mind. And we've beaten the rest of the game in like 37 minutes, and we're about to finish off the Elite Four. We're going to polish them off. We have an attack stat of 176. Defense is 123. Speed is 136. Special is 154. We have 199 health, which as soon as we level up 1 time, will be over 200. So all the stats here are solid. We have good speed, good attack, good special, good defense. There's not really glaring weakness here, except for we don't have a great thing to fight Agatha, but it is what it is. We just have to, we'll just beat her with pure and utter brute force, I guess is the best way to put it. So now we're going to go ahead and go and fight Lorelei. Now, Lorelei's not going to be hard because we have Thunderbolt. A lot of our Pokemon are considered water type. So Thunderbolt is a 2-shot on the Dugong. Get the knockout there, very good. And we have a Thunderbolt as a 1-shot on the Cloyster, very good. It's a 2-shot on the Slowbro. Jinx will be a one-shot with body. It's not a one-shot. This does not make sense to me. I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm just not going to say it. It does not make sense to me how that's not a one-shot on the Jinx. Jinx has very low defense. Maybe we got growled and I missed it. I don't know. But we get the knockout. We beat Lorelei. And we move on to Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno very much. He kind of gets lost and he somehow ended up here. But we're going to go and face Bruno. He doesn't have anything great against us. So Onyx comes out and we can use Ice Beam. It'll be a one-shot. Very good. Moving on to Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan Body Slam will be a two-shot. Ice Beam will knock it out. Very good. I wonder if Ice Beam will knock out Hitmonlee. It does. Very good. Ice Beam will knock out the Onyx. Very good. And Ice Beam will not just one-shot the Machamp, but we get a two-shot on the Machamp. Doesn't do much to us. And we can move on to Agatha. Agatha and her lottery. Agatha can poison us, confuse us, put us to sleep, paralyze us, all those things. And we don't have a great move for Agatha. That's the cold hard truth about Agatha. Agatha don't have anything great against her. Most Pokemon you have like Dig, you have Earthquake, you have Psychic, you have something that's good against Agatha. We don't. So we got to go with Ice Beam, hoping to get a freeze. And so we get confused right off the bat. And we don't do anything. I accidentally clicked on the wrong move. So not fun. But Thunderbolt, the combination of Ice Beam and Thunderbolt will be a three-shot. Thunderbolt will be not a one-shot on the Golbat. Does not make sense to me how it's not a one-shot. Is what it is. Haunter. Thunderbolt will almost do half. Ice Beam will freeze it solid. I wish I had a move I can do the badge boost, but I don't. So, moving on to the Arbok. Hyper Beam is a one-shot on the Arbok, and we just have the final Gengar. Like I said, we don't have anything that's going to do a massive amounts of damage, and we hurt ourselves in confusion. We're so close to knocking this bad boy out. We have 1 health left. Can we get the knockout? Can we get the knockout? We get so close, but so far, and we knock ourselves out in confusion. If we just went first and hit Agatha, it just did a move there, we'd have won. But it is what it is. And I'm thinking about adding Blizzard to have a more powerful move, but I also like the fact that Ice Beam has a lot of power points, so I don't want to do that yet. So you're seeing an internal struggle here of, do I have a more powerful move? And honestly, there's nothing about this that says it's going to do much better than Ice Beam or much better than Thunderbolt. So I'm like, you know what? It's just about RNG. So let's go ahead and try this bad boy one more time. So Agatha comes out with the Gengar. We're just going to go for Thunderbolt. Seems to be the best move. Okay, it's a 3-shot, and she gives us helps us out a little bit and gives us a switch out, which I don't know why she did. And now she switches into, thought she was clever, she switched into a Gengar and I went for Body Slam. No big deal. Knockout. Haunter comes out. Thunderbolt is a 2-shot. I think we get a critical hit there, so very good. Arbok comes out. Hyper Beam will be a 1-shot as long as we hit. Very good. And the final Gengar, we can survive 2 Nightshades from this Pokemon. And she heals, and she heals again, and we're in a healing loop. We just gotta be a little more damage than her healing does. So we beat Agatha, and Agatha honestly is the biggest problem in the Elite Four because we don't have anything great against her. Because I'll tell you what, we have a great move against Lance. Lance is the Dragon Trainer, which again, I don't know why Gyarados isn't a dragon. He's literally on the Dragon Trainer's team. But I guess Aerodactyl isn't a dragon either, so that's a moot point, I guess. But we have a move to take out every one of his Pokemon in 1 shot. I don't even know if we're going to take damage here. But Gyarados comes out as the first Pokemon. Okay, Thunderbolt will be super effective. 4 times damage, 1 shot on the Gyarados, very good. Dragonair comes out. Ice Beam will be super effective against Dragonair, both of them. So both of them will be a 1-shot. I don't recall if Aerodactyl is a 1-shot, but Aerodactyl you can go for either Takedown or Thunderbolt. We get the 1-shot, very good. And the knockout, very good. So it's flying rock type, so the ice part takes out the rock, and the Thunderbolt takes out the flying type. So we get the win against Lance. Now we're just preparing for our rival. Elixir, healing everything up. So I have Blizzard on here. I'm going to add Teach Blizzard over top of Ice Beam. Okay, I know it's not exactly as accurate, and there's not as many power points. And what we're going to use here. So this is a TM31. This is Mimic. What move we're going to use? We're going to get rid of Hyper Beam. This was a risk. It's a big risk on my part. The reason why it's a big risk is because Hyper Beam is the most powerful move we can get, and we just got rid of it. So now we're going to face our rival. Rival comes out with his Pidgeot. Thunderbolt will be, or Blizzard will be the first move, so we can get the one shot. I don't think Thunderbolt would have got the one shot there, so that's why I went with Blizzard. Body Slam will not be a one shot. I don't know why it's not a one shot. I'm going to go ahead and Mimic, and I hit the wrong move there. And now we're mimicking Psychic instead of Recover. I want to use Recover because it would heal back some health. And we can play a game here with Rhydon where we just use Recover and keep full health and let him do Tail Whip. But I picked the wrong move, so we're just moving on with that. Rhydon is a one-shot with Blizzard. Thunderbolt's a one-shot on the Gyarados. So our rival is really looking like a cupcake battle right now. Thunderbolt does about half damage. So Arcanine did the leers that I wanted from Rhydon. So that's perfect. And then Blizzard come out with Blizzard. It's a one-shot. And we beat the game with Magikarp and a Gyarados at 2 hours and 21 minutes and some odd seconds. So keep in mind, 1 hour and 37 minutes was spent just getting the Magikarp to evolve into Gyarados. Once it evolved, Gyarados is pretty solid. It's just there's some things that are weird about it. Like it has high attack stat, but there's little subtle things in the battle. And it glitched right here because I paused. There we go. I'll just let it do that. And there we go. And it's just like you think there's some things that like they should be obviously a one-shot. It's a very powerful Pokemon with high attack, and it's not one-shotting some things. That was very frustrating. You're looking at some of these battles. I'm sure you guys are watching like, how is that not a one-shot? You're probably saying the same thing I'm saying throughout this. So, what are my thoughts? Well, Magikarp sucks. We did find some clever ways to level up, so I'm proud of myself there. Eventually, I do want to play through with just Gyarados, and we're gonna do it with Red and Blue. So, Pokemon Red or Blue. So we start off with, you start off with 4 moves instead of just tackle. So that's going to be fun. That'll be a future thing, but my next couple of videos are coming out, and we're getting near the nitty gritty, near the end of the Pokédex. And once I get near the end of Pokédex, that opens the door for starting Gen 2 content. We're also going to be starting some versus series, like I might do like a Gyarados versus this Pokemon, and see who plays through the fastest. I may just do all the evolved forms with all the moves you start out with and things like that, and see who can get through fast. Because a lot of Pokemon, especially this is a prime example. Whenever you play through, you have to evolve it for it to be effective. And there's a lot of Pokemon, if they were just evolved to start with Brock, you wouldn't have the Brock struggle that you have in the early part of the game. So I'm curious about that. So I may test those out, but I got a lot of options coming up with our playthroughs. So if you watch this, I really appreciate you watching. It's a little bit of a slog when it came to the grinding part, but I hope you enjoyed the transitions. I hope you enjoyed the strategy that went into it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This was a brutal playthrough, and I need to get through it. But I will say this is not as brutal as one coming up. So the next video is actually Lapras. Lapras is actually one of the fastest Pokemon to play through as. But the next Pokemon after Lapras, if you go look at the Pokédex, you're going to see why. It's not going to be fun. It'll be fun for you guys because you see my torture. I am a masochist, I guess. So, but it's going to be a slog, and I'm excited about it, but also in the same breath, not excited about it. So, we shall see. But have a good one. Thank you for watching my video. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and yeah, when I say share, literally share to your friends. More views, more subscriptions. Get this video out to more people, and liking and subscribing, participating really helps. So thank you for watching. Have a good one, and see ya.